business coach really goes into in detail a whole lot of this stuff. So make sure you read it to get the more in-depth knowledge behind what we're discussing and looking at here today. So let's go, now that you've examined where your business is at, and it might be that you've completed the mastery and you really want to get that revenue base up. You know, you've got the commercial enterprise. Here's the challenge. The moment we finish that top level, we got to go back to the bottom again. Because let's say at the bottom you're $1 million a year company, and we get you to be in a $5 million a year company by the time you finish, get through that top level. Then the the systems you use to deliver at a $1 million a year company in the mastery level are going to be different to the systems you'll need when you become a $5 million a year company. So we've got to keep rolling through that cycle and making sure we keep the growth happening and the business running and the people within the business growing. What I've found through coaching business owners over the years is that often you'll coach the owner, and then you'll be coaching their general manager, and then you'll be coaching the next person that runs the company to keep the company growing over time. Very important to watch for. Let's take a look here in a little more detail though. In the mastery section, you've read Chaos to Control, obviously, and now what it is about explaining what we mean to that to you. See, most business owners we go in and we chat with, I ask them a very pointed question. When did you lose control of your company? And they kind of look around a little bit at first, because the first thing they realize is, you know what, I didn't realize I was out of control of my company, but now that you mention it, I get it. I'm not in control. I can't control how much profit we make next month. I can't control whether we get great employees or not. I can't control. And so it really comes back to that, how do we get you back in control of the business? How do we get you back in control of the financials, the productivity, and the output of the company, so that you have very easy decision making and very great capability of moving the business forward? So there are three areas I look at in this. Let's take an examination. First area, money mastery, time, and then obviously delivery. So the money is everything from your reporting capabilities, how well you know the numbers of your company, right through to the profitability of the company. Where is the profitability, the pricing structure you use, the purchasing structures you use, looking at how you master the money segment of your business. Everything from that decision making right through to the profitability. Very important segment of the business. Cash flow is one of the areas. What's your strategy for collecting money from clients? What's your strategy for collecting debt from people who owe you money? So many small businesses just don't have this stuff in place, and therefore wonder why they're the bankers for their clients. These are some things. When we examine what's called the cash gap strategy, and if you don't know what that is, please call one of my coaches, have a chat with them about the cash gap and how that affects. And in fact, in many cases, that's what sends a business out the back door, is that distinction between when you have to pay for something and when your clients pay you for it. So we've got to keep those things in mind, and that's where that money segment is very important for you as a business owner to be coached in and put the strategies in place that make that effective for you. Next one is called time. Productivity of you and the employees in your company. You know, what areas are you working on? Are they productive? Are you working on areas that you should be working on? As the owner of the business, are you doing too much in the low-paying jobs where you could have an employee where you could be making a whole lot more money if you were doing other areas of the business? Your employees' productivity, what is happening there? These things are stuff that we have to address right up front, because if we're going to grow the business, obviously that time management and that time systems really needs to be important. Just on that, I don't believe in anything like time management. What I believe in is self-management. You know, you cannot stop the hands on the clock ticking, but what you can do is change the way you work within that time frame and the way your employees work within that time frame. Third point, the delivery. You know, it was interesting. One time I was coaching a restaurant owner, and he was wondering why he wasn't getting customers back, so I thought I'd go and eat in the restaurant. Food was awful. It was real bad. And how do you as a coach tell the owner of the business that their food is real bad? It was kind of an interesting thing for me, but if we didn't focus on that delivery of a better product, then we were never going to get there. Other businesses, it's been about bottlenecks in their companies. Others, they're service-oriented companies, and we're looking at the capabilities of the people within the company, with their ability to deliver. That is the first stage that we need to go from chaos to control. Get that under our belt. Next, we move up to that niche. My definition of a niche is extraordinarily simple. You'll see it on the screen. No price competition. Period. Now, most people, when I talk to them about that in business, people buy on price. Yeah, that's because that's the way you're selling to them. That's the way you're marketing to them. That's the way you're working the business. Yeah, but Brad, our industry, we do tenders, we do quotes, we have to put it in writing, we have to send it into them months in advance. This is the way it operates. I agree that that's the way it currently operates in your business. I've done this with tens of thousands of companies all around the world, everything from contractors to printing companies, all the most price-sensitive companies in the world. We've worked on this stuff with them, and we've taught them the way to take it out of price sensitivity. The moment we get your niche strategies right, and there's 4 areas we're going to work on in there. Now, if you want to learn those 4 areas, you've got to watch one of my other sections that I did a couple of weeks ago on the 5 ways to grow your business, how to get your bottom line up by 61%. Watch that DVD, watch that segment here online, and you'll really get from that. Also, my book, The Instant Cash Flow. Instant cash flow is a very big explanation of how to do that sort of stuff. But that's really what we're going to be working on. A couple of the areas within that you need to understand. Sales and marketing is really what happens within your niche. I'm trained as an accountant, and one of the worst things about being trained as an accountant is that you're taught that sales and marketing goes into the expense column of a company's profit and loss statement. Problem with that is, without sales and marketing, the loss gets bigger. You need sales and you need marketing, but you got to do a couple of things. See, I want to teach you this. I want to teach you the action view that every dollar out should produce more dollars in. If you're doing your sales and marketing properly, it's an investment now. It's no longer an expense to you.